Hey everyone, Grandmaster Ben Finegold here with our video tonight. I almost didn't make one because I wasn't feeling well, but I feel sort of okay now. Had a tough day. I guess that happens. Let's see. The Rapid and Blitz is interesting because there's, in Singfield, there's 4 players tied for first, there's 4 players tied for 5th, and then there's 2 players 9th, 10th, so everybody's sort of bunched up. Some of you noticed that I wasn't on the live broadcast today commenting like I usually do, making silly jokes and stuff. I was actually banned, so I can't. And I talked to the person who banned me. I thought she was a friend of mine, but and then she told me why she banned me. One reason she banned me was very reasonable. The other one was just wrong. She thought that I was complaining that the chess club in St. Louis owed me money when I was obviously responding to somebody about ALOHA, since I still haven't been paid. But somehow when somebody asked me if ALOHA paid me out and I said no, that they owe me money, somebody told her, or she thought that I said the chess club owed me money in St. Louis, which obviously they don't. They always pay me immediately. Chess club in St. Louis is the best for getting paid. You get paid early, you get paid immediately, you get paid correctly. And in fact, the first time I worked at the chess club in St. Louis, October 2009, I got paid a lot more than I was expecting. I was actually confused. I understand what happened, but when I got my check, I was like, wow. So that's one of the best things about St. Louis, which you guys probably don't know, is when they pay you, they pay you. Luckily, the tournament I played in, which finished yesterday, which we're going to discuss a game here, I got paid immediately also, like I usually do. And one of my students or friends, I don't remember, said, has this ever happened to you before, the ALOHA situation? And the answer is no. I can't remember not being paid for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, complaining to the USCF, complaining to the state association. And it's been like a week since I've complained officially to the powers, and I still haven't been paid. And I complained starting 2 weeks ago to the organizer. So supposedly the check was mailed and we have a tracking number, and the tracking number said it was being delivered tonight, Monday, but it wasn't. So I don't know. Maybe there's a conspiracy. Maybe the post office just sucks. I don't know. So I don't know anymore. But anyway, a lot of people are mad at me from all walks of life. I think the chess club in St. Louis is mad at me. The USCF is mad at me. Other people are mad at me. You guys hate me, so I have to delete a lot of comments. Boy, the comments you don't see, the ones I delete, man, the truth hurts. So anyway, well, let's get to the game. Now, the first game, I might make 2 videos tonight. I'll see how I feel. I was going to put both games in this video, but I don't want to do that. So this was against Logan Wu. He's from Tennessee. In fact, 3 of my 4 opponents were from Tennessee, which is weird. And of the 4, this is also very strange. Of the 4 players I played, I never played any of them before. That's weird because I played a lot of tournaments. So it was sort of strange. Okay, I'm white. Now, if you watch all my videos, this is going to look very familiar because this is also my round 3 game against Capiche. Capiche? Although there is a slight difference, which I may not have shown in the video. Capiche played e6 here, and then we transposed e6, c4, knight f6. So we got this position, but with a different move order. Okay, and in this position, you can play a3, or you can play knight f3. But okay, I always play knight f3. You can play other moves too. But okay. Now here, g3 is what I usually play. I may have discussed this in the previous video with this position. I was just in the bishop d2 mood. I don't know why. I have a lot of analysis with g3. I mean, I have like preparation, which I forgot before you were born. It's actually true. I did like huge preparation with g3 once, actually more than once. It seems like most of my games end in draws when I play g3. I don't think I've ever lost with it. I could be wrong. I think I have a lot of draws. I might have lost once. But anyway, as I mentioned in the previous video, this is a game I had with Nicholas Huschenbeth, the German grandmaster who now, I guess, goes to school at Maryland. And then he played b6 here, which is inaccurate. And that was my game with Capiche in the third round. Capiche actually played the opening better than Nicholas did. Okay, so Logan played 94, which is correct. Logan's maybe 11 years old, I'm guessing. He's definitely between 10 and 12. If he was 9 or 13, I would be shocked. So I'm going to say 11, then I'm pretty close. I've actually known Logan for a long time because I think I've seen him at World Youth. I've seen him a lot in St. Louis Chess Club. I've seen him at Super Nationals. I see him everywhere. And I remember when he was like an A player and now an expert, and he'll probably be a master, I'm going to guess, before the year's up. He's like 20, he's like 21-20. Okay, now D4 is the equalizing move, and that's why grandmasters don't play this line with white, because white gets nothing. I don't really mind getting nothing. I like boring chess, and I like to play super boring against little kids, because they don't like that. So I don't really mind if it's equal. Okay, so you take with a knight. And this is a game I drew Varakobian in the U.S. Championship maybe 4 years ago. And I played E3, and I was worse the whole game. And then the last 10 moves of the game, I was better. Game was like 75 moves. It was a draw. Okay, so E4 is more common than E3. And then D6, of course. And now he played E5, which is positionally very nice for black. He puts all his pawns on dark squares. I put my pawns on white squares. And because of the bishops that we have, his bishop's better than mine. So we both have holes in our position on D5 and D4. And we both run our knights to those squares because we're so good. Okay, so castles, bishop e6. I played knight e1. I wanted to play knight c2 and knight e3. I thought my opponent would play rook c8. That was right. Threatening either bishop takes c4, b5, or both. Maybe even d5. And I was going to play queen e2 like in any case. And I didn't want to play queen e2 like here because he could eventually play bishop g4 and pin my knight. So since I wanted to put my knight on e3, this seemed like the right move order to do it. I'm going to play knight c2, knight e3. That makes sense. Okay, he did the same thing. He got his knight to a good square. Okay, and now he's threatening knight takes d3, and then my c pawn's hanging and I would lose. So I have to do something about that. In fact, the move that I wanted to play does something about it, knight e3, because now my knight protects my c pawn. So, okay, so he played knight b3, of course, attacking my rook, and now he finally gets to d4. And he could play knight d4 now, but he chose to play queen g5 because I can't really do much about it. And maybe he wants to play bishop h3. And if he plays knight d4, like let's pretend it was his move. If he plays knight d4 attacking my queen, whether my queen goes to e1 or d2, knight f3 check wins my queen. So I don't want my queen and his king lined up. I don't want his queen and my king lined up. And actually, this is something I teach a lot. Pieces being lined up. It seems like I haven't seen that in a lot of books. I don't read a lot of books, but that's a huge tactic in chess. I don't even know what to call it, but when pieces are lined up either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally, that's when bad stuff happens. So normally when two pieces are lined up, it's very advantageous for one side. And here, of course, when it's a queen and a king, it's advantageous for the queen. If it's a rook and a queen, it's usually advantageous for the rook, because you don't want to trade your queen for a rook. And I could give you other examples. Okay, so I play king h1, because I don't want my king lined up with his queen. I don't want knight f3 check to ever happen. And of course he played knight d4. I played queen d2. And he thought a long time here, and that's one of the disadvantages of being a talented, young, strong player, is usually the reason you're good at a young age is you're good at tactics. Because if you're bad at tactics and you hang all your pieces, you're just like every other kid. But if you're good at tactics, you beat other kids. And you don't have to have positional, be refined to win. You just have to see more tactics than your opponent does. Normally, I'm not blundering all my pieces. I said normally, not always. And so if I don't blunder and you don't blunder and you're 11 years old, I'm going to play better than you because I'm the oldest person in the world and I've seen thousands of Grandmaster games and I've played hundreds of Grandmasters. I've analyzed chess, and you were born just a little while ago. So you don't have the experience I do in playing positional chess and trying to build and find a plan. So even though the computer says black is a little bit better, I'll take either side here against the little kid because there's very few tactics. The one tactic he tried, knight f3 check, I played king h1. So that's about the end of the tactics. Okay, so his next move didn't make a lot of sense. He played king h8. at some point, if I played knight f5 or knight d5, I could somehow have knight e7 check, but I mean, not really. So king h8 doesn't really do a whole lot. Okay, I played queen b4, which attacks two of his pawns. Now, I was very confused, and I didn't talk to him after the game. I'll see him sometime, probably in the next 3 or 4 months. I usually see Logan every 3 or 4 months at a tournament. The reason I was confused is he thought a long time here. I would say 8 or 9 minutes. And the only move that I see, I could be wrong, that defends the d6 pawn and the b7 pawn is queen e7. And if he lets me take one of those pawns, I'm up a pawn. So, I don't know, there's not a lot going on. So, I thought he would play queen e7 in about a minute. So when he was thinking forever, I thought maybe something interesting is going to happen. And maybe the engine says he doesn't have to defend his pawns. But he played queen e7. So that's nice when you think your opponent has a forced move, and then they think 8 or 9 minutes and then play it. It's mildly confusing, but okay. Now here I thought I could do stuff like knight d5, knight f5, f4, and they're probably okay to do that. But I didn't want to do anything because I want him to figure out what to do. That way he's eating up lots of time, and maybe he'll have the wrong plan. And my knight on e3 is so good, I don't want to trade it. It's a great knight. It's defending almost every square. So I really didn't know what to do here. I thought about a lot of moves, and I ended up playing rook fe1 because, as I said earlier, I like where my rook and your queen are lined up. I like playing bishop f1, which obviously I like, but it defends g2. It gets out of the way of my rook on d1. And the bishop on d3, that's not really inspiring confidence. What's a bishop on d3? So I like rook e1. It seems like it discourages him from playing f5, and it encourages me to play bishop f1. So that doesn't really do very much. So I played g6, which makes some sense because you want to play f5 at some point, maybe king g7 at some point. I don't know. g6 is a little weakening, but I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, bishop f1, obviously. And now he made a mistake, I think. And again, the computer always says that black is fine here, either better or equal. Played rook c6. I don't think that's a good move, but even though the computer likes black the whole game, it says he's never worse, I think it's hard to play black because I think it would have been easier for him to play if I had a different attitude, like rawr, and I'd start doing stuff, he could react to it. But if I play rook e1, bishop f1, king h1, then he has to find his own plan. And usually that's not something the kids are good at. They're good at taking home my pieces when I hang them. Didn't hang them this game, so sorry. Okay, so knight d5, and the engine just says move his queen, and it still says I think it prefers black a little bit, or maybe it's equal. It's hard to move your queen when you've been preparing to take my knight like for the last 10 moves. Whether I played knight f5 or knight d5, he was going to take my knight. And just letting it sit there is weird. And one of the issues with g6 is at some point I can sack an exchange on d4, and if I can play queen takes d4 check, then I got good compensation because you played the move g6. Then you really don't want my knight on d5. I'm not saying that white's winning or better, but it's annoying to analyze that. So he took my knight, which I expected, but the computer doesn't like that. And that actually required some precise analysis on my part. I took with the e-pawn, and the idea is my rook is now really lined up with his queen. Before I was just kidding because there was a pawn on e4, but there's a knight on e3, but now I'm not kidding. So obviously I'm threatening the rook, and I'm obviously threatening rook takes knight because his e-pawn's pinned. So it's absolutely forced to play rook b6. I move my queen, and now I'm threatening queen takes d4 and rook takes d4. They both win, and you have to stop that. Now, if he didn't have to stop that, he could put something on b3, like rook b3, and then if he gets his pawn to a4, it's positionally very strong. His knight on d4 is great, and my queen side's blocked. Okay, so he has to stop queen takes knight, and rook takes knight, so he played queen f6. And when I played knight d5 a few moves ago, I saw this position, and I was thinking, well, if he plays rook b3, he's probably better, but his queen takes f2, he's probably better. And then, this is actually very funny, I get confused easily, I guess. I said, well, I can play b4, and then if he doesn't take on f2, then great. I mean, this rook's trapped on b6, so he takes on f2. And now this is very weird. My intention was to play c5. When I played knight d5, I was like, knight d5, take, rook b6, queen c3, queen f6, b4, queen f2, c5, and I concluded probably better for white, and I was right. And right before he played queen f2, I was like, oh, I just played b5 and his rook's trapped. And so when he played queen f2, I played b5. And then when I looked at it with the engine, it said c5 was better. So, man, engines are tough. So I felt silly for analyzing c5 for so long, like 4 moves ago. And now the engine's like, yeah, c5, that's the right move. c5 is very interesting. That's the move, you know, the tactical players want to make, and b5 is the move I want to make because I'm dominating his rook. I like when his rook can't move. But computer doesn't like b5. I think it still prefers white, but not by much. But after c5, it prefers white. Now, he has to play very accurately. I think he has to play queen c2. And the computer says it's like equal, maybe. I don't know. But he played a6, which is very understandable. Get his rook out of there. And I'm like, no, you're not getting your rook out of there. And obviously I'm threatening a5. So he took. And now I thought a long time about whether to play c takes or a takes. And I played the right move, luckily. C takes. Because now I can play either queen a7. Queen a7? Man, if I could play queen a7, I could beat anybody. I could play queen a5 or queen c7. And occasionally I can play a5. And here it didn't like his move either. And it says I'm winning after his move. Although here I'm already close to winning, I think. I forgot what it wants him to play. Maybe queen c2 again. Okay, but he played rook a8, which I expected. And I thought a long time. And I played a5. And it's funny. I was like, well, he can't take with the knight. He has to take with the rook. He took with the rook. And then the computer takes with the knight. So, well, because taking with the rook loses, so it tries to lose less. And I just thought, like, he resigns here because I'm winning everything. And the computer, like, just starts taking pawns. And if I take the knight, he takes my a-pawn. He has 3 pawns for a piece, but his pawns are all weak. So, I don't know. d6 is weak, b7 is weak. Now, I'm winning, but it's, like, close. It's, like, +1, 1.5. It's like sort of winning. And he was in very bad time trouble here. Again, I talk to my students a lot about this. One in particular, I won't say his name, but a lot of times in the opening and middle game, we spend a lot of time on irrelevant decisions. And when I say irrelevant, you have maybe 2, 3, or 4 moves you're looking at, and you're like, I don't know. So you just keep thinking until you figure it out. And then you look with an engine, and it says all the moves are the same. All zeros, all 0.1, all 0.2, whatever. And then you thought 10 minutes about making a move that was just as good as any other move you would have made. Then when you get to positions like this, and earlier and later around this position, now the decisions are very important because it's very tactical, and you find you're short on time. So you really should save your time for tactics and making sure you don't blunder, not for random strategical ideas that you're going to be wrong about half the time anyway, because chess is too hard. But, I mean, if you calculate wrong, you're going to lose pieces. So if you're strategically wrong, the computer says you're worse. I was worse before you were born. Okay. So he played rook takes. And this is funny. So in my head, when I played the move a5, I got this position. And I did a lot of analysis. So I thought a long time on a5 about the move queen c5, which is the only move. And after takes, I was looking at rook takes e5, d6, and rook b1. Of course, I'm looking at in my head 5 moves ago, so I'm sort of confused. And I concluded d6 was best. This prevents rook takes a5, because I played d7. I'm threatening rook takes e5. If I play rook takes e5, I should win, because I have a passed pawn. I'm taking all his pawns. So I thought he should play f6, because I'll play rook takes e5 otherwise. After d7, he has to play rook d8. And then I thought this would win. This was my analysis in my head. I don't even know if it's right. Now, if the knight moves, I take on b7 and defend my pawn. So I guess he has to defend his pawn. And then I go here. And then if he takes, I go here. So this is the analysis I did in my head. And I'm like, all right, it's winning. I don't know if I'm right. I checked with an engine, but I forgot. So, but that was what I was thinking during the game, and it was a few moves ago. And I was like, well, okay, if d6 doesn't work, I'll think about it here. Then I'll play rook takes e5, or I'll play rook b1. I don't know. I have a lot of moves that look interesting. And the computer agreed that d6 was best and something like plus 2.6, which is more than I thought it was. So, okay. And all that analysis I did when I played a5, and we got to this position. He played knight d4, and I was like, knight d4? Wow, I can take everything. You can't play knight d4. So knight d4 is bad. Now I'm like plus 5. So, but if he had played queen c5, I should still be winning, but just not as easy. But again, I don't really blame Logan. He had like a minute on his clock. So if that. All right, so I took on d6 because I'm threatening to take on e5. Man, the truth hurts. So he defended e5. And I played rook f1, skewering his queen and an f pawn. And yeah, now I'm like plus 10. So past d pawn up material, his king's exposed. I'm skewering him. He played knight b5, attacking my queen. And I did something that I do a lot when my opponent has like 10, 20 seconds left, and I'm plus 10 or plus 20. Usually I just sit there until they resign. It's hard to resign when it's your move because you have to make a move. Then when it's my move and you sit there, you're like, oh man, this ain't no good. And I give him a chance to resign, and he took it. I sat for about a minute, and then he resigned. Queen e7 is like plus 17. I think I would have played queen e7 because that's the move I was considering, because his queen's attacked, his f pawn's attacked, and his b7 pawn is attacked, and I'm queening. So queen e7 makes a lot of sense. And that's what I was looking at, and while I was looking at it, he resigned. One mistake that you can make, and you're still going to win if you make this mistake, is to trade queens. You trade queens when your king is worse, and his king is really worse. So if I trade queens, I win the endgame. But if I go here, ain't going to be no endgame. Just I'm going to queen and win all his pieces. So my king is the safest king ever. So king h1 worked out. Anyway, that was my first round game against Logan, and then yeah, I never played Logan. I never played the next guy. That's the next video. And the other 2 videos I made the last 2 days, I never played them either. And 3 of my 4 opponents were from Tennessee. I don't play a lot of Tennessee players. Well, I do now. Okay. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We got our chairs delivered today. 100 chairs. I told a friend of mine I've never sweated so much because I had to pick up 100 chairs and put them in the chess center. And it was like 90 degrees and the sun was beating down. And they were like all taped together on a pallet. I wish it was just the chairs. I would bring them in. But it was like stacked up 10 each. Like 10 rows of 10. And it was hard. Trust me. My wife helped too. She probably did more than I did because the heat doesn't kill her like it does me. It's a good thing we have a couch in the chess center. So we now have 30 tables, 100 chairs, a couch, 2 fire extinguishers, 2 nice bathrooms with new floors, new carpeting on one side. The whole place was painted. We have this really nice cabinets that were there, and they let us keep them. And we have a really huge desk. Probably got about retail value, about $7,000 in free furniture. So the couch was free. It was Karen's mom's. And then the furniture that was there was free. But we spent several $1,000s on tables and chairs and on construction and stuff. But the place is looking good. It looks a lot better than last week. And we have all the permitting, so we're ready to open, basically. Today, I was talking with a bookseller because we're going to have a store. And we're going to start with maybe 30 titles, and then we'll build every month. And from a year from now, I'll probably have 300-400 books on sale in our store. And we'll sell equipment, of course. So yeah, come to the grand opening. It's really nice. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see some pictures over the next few days. And we're pretty happy with the way things are progressing. So hopefully the next few days will be better for me because I'm having a tough week. So I don't know, donate, make me feel better. I don't know. Or leave nice comments for once. Just pretend it's nice. I won't say anything bad about Carlsen or Kasparov. They're the greatest. You guys are right. Nobody can beat them. Everybody else is terrible. Only they're good. And if you like somebody else, they're good too. And so forth. So, all right. See you guys next time. And donate, donate, donate. It's like location, 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 but mine's more important. All right. Bye, everybody.